let's talk about Airbnb. I know you've opened up a little bit in terms of what it is, but let's look at more of the essential factors to consider when you price a property and properties that you look for. You mentioned obviously rent to rent type of strategy, but also how do you handle, what? So let's talk about pricing. How do you start pricing it, and what are the properties you look for when you rent to rent kind of where you want to rent out again? And then secondly, regulatory challenges and that kind of stuff, and local laws affecting short term. How do you deal with those?
Great, Neil, and thanks for giving me the remaining 25 minutes to answer all of those questions for today. It's actually, I'll be quick on them. I promise around that. So, doing Airbnb is actually very similar to if you're just doing a normal buy-to-let. There are programs, software, websites that you can, just like CMA or Lightstone, you can enter in a property's address and it will tell you by scraping all the Airbnb listings in the area, and will say, well, you've got the same kind of property as this one next door. It has proven to generate this amount of annual income with this occupancy rate, and therefore we predict that this one that you're looking at will produce the same. So that gives us a real solid foundation on what that rental or that income could be. And of course, then you can actually go onto Airbnb, look at the surrounding listings of the area that you're interested in and see if it's valid. Well, this program is telling me that I can charge 1,500 Rand a night. And yes, actually, all the other ones around this unit are also all about 1.5. So there's some legitimacy to that. So I think that's the first thing, is we understand that. Now, the biggest failure that people make in Airbnb is because you're generating money so quickly and unlocking such profits, you get greedy. And it's the greed that kills the investor, because you start to feel you're entitled to raise your prices, and you're entitled because how else are you suddenly getting all this money so quickly without even being an expert, but you're generating? Then you start thinking, well, if it was that easy, man, I should have put my pricing higher. So you put it higher, and then you upmarket yourself, because the beautiful thing about Airbnb is it's totally responsive. If you put your pricing too high, you're not going to get bookings. So if you want to adjust your occupancy level, change your pricing, and you'll literally, within hours, you'll see the market respond straight away. People will book you. So that's what I like about it. It's not rocket science. You just need to tune in and keep your ego in check. Otherwise, you will get a bit stuck on that. In looking for property, I love automation, because, in this webinar, I'm out in the Baviaansbush, I'm in the Karoo. As soon as I click, shut off this computer, we're in the mountains for the next 4 days, and we're out of cell phone reception. All of my Airbnbs are going to be working. They're all automated. They're all working fantastically well, earning me income while I'm living the life I love to live. But I have to have automation. So first and foremost, my guests need to be able to get into these properties without me having to be there to hand over the key. So when I look at a property, I ask, can I automate this check-in? It's a little bit more difficult with body corporates and buildings that have access codes, but it's possible. But that's the first thing. If I can't do it, I walk away, because I'm not going to go and pay someone 800 Rand or something just to hand over a key, and I'm certainly not going to do it. So automation is absolutely essential. And the last thing is, you mentioned about, restrictions or policies around, do you have to rezone? No, you don't. But if you are going to rent or buy in a building, you need to check those body corporate rules. Does that building allow you? Does the body corporate rules allow for you to sublet on Airbnb? And that is growing. I mean, we can see so much around the world about cities. I mean, New York did it just recently. Florence is doing it in Italy, where they're saying, listen, we need to put some kind of restrictions in, because everyone is jumping onto the bandwagon. Everyone wants to have their own Airbnb, that it's driving out the people who want to live in those areas. And of course, it's driving the rental prices up. Understandable. But here in South Africa, certainly, in most places, that's not going to happen for a long while, because it's such a pivotal part of the South African economy is what's happening at the moment. So I think the main thing is make sure if you're in a building that you can actually do it from there. And then that's the one that is the most important. And as you've heard, both Miguel and Witness share that, there's no regulation that says you cannot run an Airbnb in this place. It's the municipalities are more leaving it up to the buildings to decide if they can and do it or not. And all these kinds of questions, this is exactly why we want people to come to, our masterclasses and to reside, because here's the opportunity to speak to us and to hear directly from the horse's mouth, and from other people who have made it work. I always say proof is in the results. It's right there. You can't deny how people are making it work.
No, absolutely. No, I think